All right, let's dive into generative AI. It's everywhere, but honestly, for those of us who don't, live and breathe code, it can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, no doubt. It can seem like a whole different world.
Like, where do you even begin?
Good news is you don't have to be a tech genius to use it.
You're telling me I don't need a degree in computer science to make this work for my business?
Nope, not at all.
All right, well, let's break it down then.
Yes.
We're talking about actually using AI, right? Not just, like, the theory of it.
Right, exactly, putting it into practice. And the first step is way simpler than you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Hit me.
Define the problem. Before you even think AI, you gotta know what you're trying to fix.
Makes sense. Kind of like you don't call a plumber until you know what's leaking.
Exactly. Figure out what's broken before you start throwing tools at it.
So how do we do that? Like, what's a real-world example?
Let's say you're running a customer service department and you're just drowning in emails. Can't keep up with responses.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. So that's the problem, overwhelmed customer service. Then you got to figure out, okay, who's this hurting?
Frustrated customers.
Exactly. They just want quick answers. And your goal then, maybe it's to cut response times in half, get those customers happy.
Okay, so it's laser focus on a specific issue and then understanding, like, who's actually going to benefit from solving it.
Absolutely.
So where does AI fit in? I still don't see the connection.
Picture this. Instead of hiring a ton more customer service reps, you train AI to handle those basic questions.
Okay, that's starting to make sense.
It can answer FAQs, troubleshoot easy stuff, and if it's really complicated, then it passes it off to a human.
All right, I like where this is going. But how do you build a team to do this? Do I need to suddenly become Google?
Nah, you don't need a Silicon Valley squad. It's more about having the right mix of skills.
Okay, break it down for me. Who do I need on this AI dream team?
You need a data person, someone who gets data, how to collect it, clean it up, make sense of it all.
The data whisperer?
Right. Then you need your tech person, someone who can build the systems, the tools.
Okay, so we got data and tech covered.
But it's not all ones and zeros, you know? You need someone who can design the AI stuff so it's easy to use.
Wait, so you're telling me good design still matters, even with AI?
Absolutely. User experience is huge no matter what. And of course, you need someone who can tie it all back to your business, make sure it all makes sense for your goals.
Right, someone to keep the big picture in mind.
That's it. And then you need a project manager, someone to, herd all the cats and make sure it all comes together.
So it's like assembling the Avengers, each with their own superpower.
I like that analogy. Now, what if you're a smaller business? You might be thinking, oh, I can't afford all this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is AI only for the big guys?
Not at all. You can start by training your current team, just getting them some basic knowledge.
Upskilling, right?
Exactly. There's tons of stuff online these days. You can also hire freelancers for specific things.
Like bring in the specialists when you need them.
Yep. Or you can team up with an AI firm to get the ball rolling.
Okay, so there are options.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Now, one thing I keep hearing is data, data, data. It sounds like the key ingredient here.
It is. Data is the fuel that makes AI go. Think of it like cooking.
Okay, I'm with you.
If you use bad ingredients, you get a bad meal. Same with AI. You need good data.
So we're talking customer info, sales numbers, stuff like that?
All of that. It depends on your problem, right? Going back to that customer service example, you'd want past customer interactions, questions they ask a lot, complaints.
So figuring out patterns, trends.
Exactly. But here's the thing, you can't just dump all your data into AI and expect miracles.
There's more to it.
Remember that data whisperer? This is where they shine. They clean up that data, fix errors, make sure it's all formatted right.
Got to be prepped.
Yes. Clean data is the foundation for good AI insights. And that takes us to the next step, picking the right AI model.
This is where I start to lose it. AI models. Sounds complicated.
Nah, think of it like choosing the right tool. Like you wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer a nail.
You'd make a mess of things.
Exactly. Different AI models are built for different jobs.
Give me an example.
Say you're dealing with a ton of text, like emails. You'd want a language model. If it's pictures, then an image recognition model. There's a whole bunch out there.
So match the tool to the task.
Exactly. So we've defined the problem, got our team, gathered our data, picked our model. What's next? Do we just hit the go button?
Is that all it takes?
Not quite. Now comes the training. That's where the real magic happens.
Training. So we're teaching this thing how to do its job.
You got it. We feed that AI model all that clean data we prepped. It's like showing a new employee the ropes.
Okay, that makes sense.
You give them examples, you give them feedback, they learn and get better over time.
So the AI is learning from the data. More data, smarter AI.
That's the idea. It's like giving it a crash course in your business. The more it learns, the better it gets at doing what you need it to do.
This is fascinating stuff.
Huh.
But I gotta ask, how techy does it get? Do I need to learn to code?
No way. The cool thing is, these AI tools are getting easier and easier to use. You don't need to be a programmer.
That's a relief.
So we've defined the problem, built the team, got the data, chose the model, and started training. Now what?
What happens next?
That's where things get really interesting. We move on to testing and deployment. And that, my friend, is what we'll talk about next time.
All right, everyone, be sure to tune in for part 2, where we'll find out how to actually set this AI thing free in the real world.
Welcome back. Last time, we were talking about training that AI, right? Like teaching it the ropes.
Yeah, getting it ready for the big leagues.
Exactly. Now let's talk about what happens once the training's done.
So it's learned all it can from the data. It's ready to go. What's next? Just set it loose.
Whoa there, hold your horses. Before we unleash it on the world, we got to test it.
Makes sense. We don't want any surprises.
Right. It's like a test drive before you buy the car. You got to make sure it runs smoothly.
So how do we test this AI? What does that even look like?
Depends on what you're using it for, how complex it is. Sometimes you just give it some sample data and see what it does.
Like a trial run.
Yeah, exactly. Other times you got to run simulations or even try it out with a small group of users first.
Kind of like a beta test.
You got it. You want to find any glitches, any problems before it affects your whole business.
So we're trying to break it before it breaks us.
In a way, yeah. You want to see what it can handle, make sure it's up to the task.
All right, so we've tested it. Everything looks good. What's next? How do we actually get this AI working for us?
That's where deployment comes in. We're talking about integrating it into your systems, your daily operations.
So like if it's that customer service AI, we'd hook it up to our email, our chat system.
Exactly. It's got to be part of the team, not just some separate thing off on its own.
I can see how that would make it more effective. But what about afterwards? Do we just launch it and forget about it?
Not quite. Think about it like getting a new piece of equipment. You got to maintain it, right? Make sure it keeps working.
So regular checkups for the AI.
Exactly. We call it monitoring. Especially in the beginning, you got to keep a close eye on things, track how it's doing, fix any problems that come up.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing?
Definitely not. AI needs attention. It needs to be tweaked and adjusted as you go.
And I'm guessing feedback from the people using it is important.
Huge. They're the ones on the front lines. They'll tell you what's working, what's not.
So we take that feedback and make the AI even better.
That's the loop. You deploy it, you watch it, you get feedback, you tweak it, and you keep going.
All right, so let's say this AI is a home run. Customers love it, our team's happy. What happens when things start to grow, though? Can this AI handle more and more work?
That's where scaling comes in, making sure your AI can grow with you, adapt to bigger demands.
So if we suddenly have like 10 times the customers, the AI won't just crash.
That's the goal. Scaling might mean giving it more computing power, making the algorithms more efficient, things like that.
So it's not just about throwing more money at it, there's a strategy to it.
For sure. You want to scale in a smart way, cost-effective, and make sure it's still manageable as it grows.
Right, not just bigger but better.
Exactly. So we've covered testing, deploying, monitoring, feedback, scaling, all super important. But there's one big piece we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, there's more? What else is there?
The people. How do your employees feel about all this?
Ah, the human element.
You got it. Implementing AI, it's a big change, and people can be resistant to change.
Yeah, I can see that. Some people might be scared they'll lose their jobs.
That's a common fear. So you got to communicate clearly, explain the benefits for the company and for them.
Show them how it can actually make their jobs better.
Right. Less busy work, more interesting stuff. And you got to prove it, Show them actual results, how AI is helping.
Tangible benefit.
That's it. And training is crucial too. Make sure everyone knows how to use these new tools, feels confident with them.
So it's really a whole company effort.
Yeah.
It's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we work, how we adapt.
You got it. Implementing AI successfully, it's a holistic thing. Tech, people, culture, it all plays a part.
Okay, so we've got testing, deployment, monitoring, feedback, scaling, change management. That's a lot to digest. Is there anything else we should know? Any final words of wisdom?
One thing I always say is don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect solution or the perfect data. Start small, pick a problem, and just try it out.
Dip your toes in the AI water.
Exactly. The more you experiment, the more you learn. And that's really the key here.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but be sure to join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll look ahead to the future of AI and what it all means for your business. We're back and ready to wrap things up. We've gone through a lot. from picking the right problem to actually scaling AI.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
But I'm still thinking, what's next? What's the big picture for AI for businesses like ours?
That's the big question, right? Honestly, the possibilities are pretty much endless. We're already seeing AI changing things in healthcare, finance, even entertainment.
Like how? What are some real-world examples?
Well, in healthcare, AI is helping doctors analyze medical images, diagnose stuff earlier, even tailor treatments for specific patients.
Wow, so personalized medicine, that's crazy.
And in finance, AI is helping banks spot fraud, manage risk, even make investment decisions.
Okay, that makes sense. AI is good with numbers.
Right. And even in entertainment, they're using it for special effects, suggesting what to watch, even writing scripts.
So AI is everywhere, huh? But for businesses specifically, how's it going to change how we work, how we compete?
One of the biggest things is automation. All those repetitive tasks we do, AI can take over those.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about freeing them up to do more interesting stuff.
Exactly. AI is a tool. It helps us work smarter. We can analyze more data, find patterns we wouldn't see otherwise, make better decisions.
Sounds great. But are there downsides, risks we need to be aware of?
One thing is bias. AI learns from data, and if that data is biased, well, the AI can become biased too.
So we got to make sure we're feeding it the right stuff.
Absolutely. Another thing is transparency. These AI systems are getting complex. Sometimes it's hard to know how they're making decisions.
So we need to be able to trust them, and to trust them, we got to understand them.
Exactly. We need AI that's not just accurate, but also explainable, so we know why it's doing what it's doing.
It's a lot to think about. Sounds like AI isn't just about the tech, it's about ethics, about really understanding your business.
You got it. AI is powerful, but it's not magic. You need a plan. You need to be smart about it.
So for businesses just starting out with AI, what's your advice?
Don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect solution. Just start small. Pick one problem and experiment.
Learn by doing.
Exactly. The world of AI is constantly changing. You got to be willing to adapt, to keep learning.
This has been a great deep dive, really eye-opening.
Glad you found it helpful.
I feel like we just scratched the surface, though.
We did, but that's the exciting part. There's so much more to explore.
Well, folks, that's it for our deep dive into the world of generative AI. Hope you learned a lot, and who knows, maybe you're even feeling inspired to give it a shot yourself.
The future of AI is, well, it's up to us. Let's make it a good one.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, keep learning, keep innovating, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.